Hello, and welcome to your meditation practice as part of the Open Heart Project. My name is Susan Piver, and I am delighted to give you meditation instruction. And we're going to sit together today for 10 minutes, and we're going to start right now. So please take your seat, begin to get settled. You may sit on a cushion on the floor, and if you do, your legs can be crossed loosely in front of you. And by the way, one ankle is sort of in front of the other rather than on top of the other, which can kind of hurt. But it's also completely fine to sit in a chair. But if you do, please sit with your feet flat on the floor. And as we get settled, I want to mention something that has been very useful in my life, and that I hope will be useful to you, and that my meditation practice has really helped me understand. We all have experiences that are very sad. And no one really teaches us how to relate with sadness properly. And we sort of live in a culture, at least in the United States, where if you're sad, you need to cheer up. There's some kind of problem. You know, being sad can be thought of as kind of gloomy, or like you're a loser even because you feel sad, or, you know, it's not valued, in short. But I actually find sadness to be very valuable, and I'll tell you why. And I'm not talking about depression, by the way, which is not so valuable. Depression is sort of sadness in a frozen state. That's how it feels to me. And it's different than sadness. And the feminist icon, Gloria Steinem, actually in an interview described this difference perfectly. And I'm paraphrasing. She was asked about if she was depressed because her husband had just died. And she said, "I'm not depressed, I'm sad." And the interviewer said, "What's the difference?" And she said, "When you're depressed, nothing has any meaning. But when you're sad, everything does." And that is a very powerful statement. What does this have to do with our meditation practice? Depression, as I mentioned, is a kind of freezing, and it feels very constricted and heavy and solid and tight. Sadness feels soft, and even though it doesn't feel good, it feels workable. So in our meditation practice, of course, we practice letting go over and over again of our discursive mind to connect with that place of soft openness which arises, which we see is always there actually when we let go of our thought to return to our breath. We find that we actually inhabit a very flexible, soft, and workable place. So if you are feeling sad or depressed, my heart goes out to you, and I offer you this notion that sadness and depression are different, and that sadness actually is quite precious because it connects you to the meaning in a deeper way. So here we go. Without further ado, let's begin our practice. So there are three things to be mindful of in your meditation practice. And the first is your body. The way you take your seat actually is part of the practice. And the basic idea is to sit up straight, but with a sense of gracefulness and aliveness, as opposed to stiffness or, you know, I'm gonna show everyone what a good posture is. Just relax. Notice the strength of your back body and the softness of your front body, and how they are inseparable, obviously. And this is true on an inner level as well. Your strength and softness are inseparable. The hands or palms down, just above the knee or mid-thigh, and the hands and arms and shoulders can really relax. The chin is tucked a little bit, so the back of the neck is long. The chin is basically parallel with the ground. And the mouth is closed, but the teeth and lips can be slightly parted. Breathing is natural, meaning you're just breathing. There's no special way to breathe. And in our practice, the eyes remain open, and the gaze is cast down to a spot about 6 feet in front, or what would be 6 feet in front if you don't actually have that much space in front of you. And let the eyes be very soft. They're resting, so they can afford to soften. And one way to soften them is, rather than focusing overly on one particular spot, is to let the eyes be still, but allow the whole visual field in. It's a kind of open tuning of the eyes. And the crown of the head reaches up a little bit. And this is mindfulness of body. Next, please place your attention on your breath with a light touch. So you don't have to grip the breath with your attention. Just notice your breath and let your attention come in on the in-breath, like it's riding the breath, and flow out on the out-breath. And you're just resting your attention on the breath as mentioned. So your attention comes in on the inhale and rides out on the exhale. And this rest is good because our minds work all day, and like our bodies, our minds too need rest. So this is a rest for your mind. And this is mindfulness of breath, which does not mean stop thinking. So just let your thoughts be whatever they are. Doesn't matter. And should you notice that your attention has become absorbed in thought, like completely, so you've forgotten about your breath, it's completely fine. All you have to do is let go. But even the letting go should be gentle and with a light touch. So imagine that your thought is like a feather that you're holding in your palm, and you just open your palm, and it just floats away. And then bring your attention back to your breath, also gently, and begin again. And this is mindfulness of mind. And these three are the practice. Thank you so much for your practice.